was just sitting here and I got to thinking about how it is when you are renting a place and your landlord seems to be stalking you. And you might say, why do you say the landlord is stalking you? Because let me tell you something. The landlords are watching you, and from the time you move into their unit until the time you leave their unit. And they're watching you because of the fact that, first of all, they don't know you. All they know is what you told them. And they gave you a lease. And on that lease, they said that that unit was for you. So you all of a sudden start moving in a way after maybe you've been there a couple months. And then all of a sudden they might see one or two people come by. Then all of a sudden they see a vehicle that stays there, and it stays there for more than a week. So your landlord then, he starts to get, or she starts to get suspicious about why is this same car there all the time. Then they start to see you moving with other people. So as they begin to see you moving with other people, do you not know at that point you're in violation of your lease? You're in total violation of your lease because they did not allow you to move anyone into that unit. And when you move other people into your unit, you might say, well, they haven't moved in, they're just here visiting, and their visit may last 2 weeks, their visit may last a month, and you may still keep saying that they're visiting. But when they're there and they're there for that long period of time, I think now some places they only tell you that a person can only stay 3 days, and now after 3 days they become a permanent fixture, you might as well say, in that house, or it looks like they're living in. So you may go to thinking that the landlord is watching you, the landlord is stalking you. Seem like the landlord knows more about your business than you do, or the landlord might come and tell you that somebody reported the fact that there was other people living in the house, too much traffic coming and going, and somebody's always watching you. So if you feel like somebody's always watching you, they are. Anytime you rent a place, that landlord has the right to watch who comes and goes from that unit. You may not even see them watching. They may watch from another block, man, may watch from another street. They may watch from another backyard or from somebody else's yard. But they will be watching to see exactly how you operate in that unit, because of the fact that landlords have been so traumatized. Some of them have been so traumatized with renting their places out, and they still got to pay for these places. They don't want them to be tore up, and they don't want them to be damaged, but yet and still people be trying to squeeze other people into these units thinking it's okay. Or you begin to sublease a room out of that house as if you have the right to put people in that house without explaining to the landlord or even talking to the landlord about somebody else moving into that unit. It does not really matter though if it's a human or a dog. You cannot even put a dog in the unit if it's on the lease that there are no animals allowed. And then if they begin to charge you more money for you being there in that situation, you begin to complain, or you begin to feel like the landlord is actually singling you out and this, that, and the other thing, when it's not none of that. It's just the fact of you not being held, you're being held accountable for what you signed up for when you signed that lease. Say you said the lease was just for you and a child, and that's all they expect to be there. They don't expect you to move mom and them, daddy and them, sister and them, brother and them, boyfriends, girlfriends. They don't expect you to move all those people into that unit, and you just saying that they just there visiting, but yet they've been there for weeks at a time. They say, you say they're visiting, but yet they come by and they see the dog running around in the yard, this, that, and other thing, dog coming and going, when they done told you they don't want no pets in their units. And I know people love their pets, but pets have a tendency, if you don't maintain them right, or if you don't have them trained well, they have a tendency also of damaging other people's property. So you got to be careful when you start renting things and you start taking matters into your own hands, and you start putting things in place after you sign the lease and you're not abiding by the lease. And then you start talking about the landlord is stalking you. The landlord is stalking you. The landlord is not stalking you. They're looking after their best interest. And this is the problem that we're having when we come down to renting something from somebody. We have a problem with taking care of other people's things, and people are not going to just let you damage their stuff, whether you're renting it or whatever. But the point of it is you cannot just move people in on that rent without paying that extra money for them people to be in there. You might as well just find out what the fee is, do things the right way, and we wouldn't have this problem. But putting people in that unit and filling that house up and people running in and out, revolving door, jumping off the hinges. Then they see their screen doors busted. They see their windows getting busted. They see their yards getting dug up from cars coming and going all hours of the night. Neighbors complaining. This is how you get caught. And yes, the landlords are watching you. That's the landlords. You call it stalking, but they are watching their property. They're watching their investment. They have a lot of money invested in these units. So what do y'all think about it? Do you feel as though that when you rent a place, you should be able to do what you want to do? You should be able to put who you want to put in it? Tap it in the comments. Let's have a conversation. Let's see how y'all feel about that, whether it's a human or whether it's pets. Do you feel like your pet, you can just go get a pet after you sign the lease, or you can just not add your pet because you don't want to pay the extra $100 or $200 fee for that pet to be there? So you decide you're going to go and just, do things your way in somebody else's unit, and then when they bring it to your attention, then it's a problem. Well, I suggest that we tap in and have a conversation about this, because it's really becoming a big problem. Is your landlord stalking you? I would have to say yes, because they have a right to watch their unit, and you may not know that they're watching you, but if you just do what's right, then you wouldn't have this problem. But the landlords do be stalking. I'm gonna tell you, they do be stalking. I have seen it for myself. I witnessed for myself, and I have rented places back in the past, and I know for myself that they will watch, and they will watch everything that goes on around that unit, whether they do a drive-by, ride-by, however. But every now and then, they're going to pay attention to what comes and goes from that unit, because that is their property still, and they are responsible for what happens around there. And periodically, they should be doing their random house checks, and when they go and check that house, believe me, they're paying attention to everything that's in it when they go in to check that unit to make sure that it's still safe and it's not being damaged. So when y'all start asking, is your landlord watching you? Is your landlord stalking you? Is your landlord... Let's have a conversation. Landlords, all you are stalking these people? Do you consider yourself stalking? Type it in the comments if you've ever dealt with this type of situation, or if you ever dealt with a situation where you felt as though the landlord has falsely accused you of moving people into the unit when you know that they're just there to visit. You just never let them know that they were there to visit, and do you feel like you should have to let them know? So many tenants don't understand the rules and regulations of after they sign the lease, and what does that look like, and what does that mean? So I think it's time for us to have a conversation about this. And I think the title of this video is my landlord stalking me? Is my landlord stalking me? That's the title of this video. So I love y'all. Y'all tap in. Let me know what y'all think. And if you stayed here this long, please consider subscribing to the channel. We have different topics over here, but one thing we do intend to do is uplift, motivate, and inspire. So, and if you stayed here this long, please turn your notification bells on so you'll be notified when I drop my next video. I love y'all. Be blessed.